This winter could be one of the coldest winters that we've seen in years. After years of milder winters driven by El Nino, the setup heading into the winter of 2025 looks much different, with a large pattern change that'll lead to a much more severe winter. And right now, El Nino is rapidly fading in the Pacific Ocean, and this is setting the stage for a dramatic atmospheric weather change across North America this winter. And when this dramatic shift happens, the jet stream begins to behave differently, and it often leads to highly unstable weather patterns. And we are talking about the potential for polar vortex disruptions, bitter Arctic outbreaks, and prolonged cold waves that could reach all the way down to the Gulf Coast. After years of mild winters, this winter could be very different, as we could be dealing with relentless cold that we haven't really seen since the early 2010s. And while El Nino is rapidly fading, what replaces it will dramatically change what we see this winter. The El Nino Southern Oscillation, otherwise known as ENSO, is what builds the foundation for what we can expect during the winter seasons in the United States. The first phase of ENSO is El Nino, a period marked by warmer than normal Pacific waters. This warmth shifts the polar jet stream north, keeping much of the northern United States mild while trapping Arctic air over Canada. And the opposite ENSO phase is La Nina. La Nina is defined by colder than normal Pacific waters. During La Nina, the jet stream slips south, allowing frequent bursts of Arctic air to plunge into the United States. In between La Nina and El Nino is our neutral phase, which could happen this winter. This is when Pacific waters are near average and ENSO's influence weakens. In these cases, other drivers like polar blocking and sudden stratospheric warming take the lead in shaping the winter pattern. And heading into this winter, NOAA has issued a La Nina advisory, meaning that we are officially entering a winter pattern that is dominated by La Nina conditions. This combination historically leads to volatile patterns. We can expect quick-hitting heat waves and brutal cold snaps, and a higher risk of Arctic air reaching deep into the lower 48. The last time we saw a setup like this was back in the winter of 2013 and 14, which many of you probably remember. But in case you don't remember, this was one of the coldest winters in modern United States history. That year featured a neutral to La Nina based pattern, strong high latitude blocking, and repeated polar vortex disruptions. The result of this winter was relentless cold. For example, Chicago spent over 25 days below zero, and the extreme effects did not end there. Parts of the Deep South and Texas also experienced deep freezes, causing power outages and critical infrastructure losses. In fact, more recent winters have still resulted in significant power grid failures. For example, during the February 2021 Texas freeze, more than 4.5 million homes and businesses lost power amid deep cold and ice. On the other hand, across the Midwest, temperatures frequently dropped 20 degrees below zero, with wind chills occasionally reaching as low as 60 degrees below zero. Now that is brutal cold. And this year, we are seeing many of the same signals. This includes neutral Pacific water temperatures, a negative North Atlantic oscillation, and a developing ridge trough pattern that favors cold east of the Rockies. Now, with all that said, this does not guarantee that we are going to see a repeat of the winter of 2013 and 14.